Hello, everyone. My name is Rodney. I come from a company called Funland Club. And this is the Innovation Corner at Hope Channel, Uganda. The Innovation Corner is a program that is diving into innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship. So what we do, we bring guests, industry standard guests, to talk about innovation, entrepreneurship. And we have a series of different topics that we are talking about. So the main aim is to help you who is watching to understand what innovation is, but also to put it to work so that you can be able to come out with different innovations, bring ideas to life, and then make some money. So today we have a guest. She's called Betty. I'm going to introduce her shortly. But before that, I want to remind you that we have different programs in the Funland Club. We have, of course, clubs in different schools where we introduce innovation and other skills such as filming, graphic designing, and others. So we have a junior graphic design challenge. So this is going to be a competition where juniors are going to appear here showcasing their graphic design skills. It is going to be something that is going to help them learn and compete in a fun way. And the winner will get a brand new laptop. So you could be able to register your kid. The ages are 7 to 12. They'll be able to take on this. And of course, registration is only 50,000 shillings. But on this, you get also free graphic design lessons from Funland Club. We also have a program with the youth of Kampala Metropolitan Zone. It's called the Youth Innovation and Entrepreneurship Program, which is looking at helping youths come up with innovative ideas, bring these ideas to life, be able to pitch them in the Innovation Corner to attract investors, sponsors, customers, etc. So if you've not yet registered and you're in the Kampala Metropolitan Zone, make sure you register. That being said, hello, Betty.
Hello.
Should I refer you as Mrs. or Miss?
Miss.
Okay. Hello, Miss Betty.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well.
So for viewers out there, she's called Miss Betty, and she's the CEO of BRB Homes. Okay. So first introduce yourself to the viewers and also dive deeper into BRB Homes. We want to know what is BRB Homes, and yeah, also know a little bit more about you.
Thank you so much, Rodney. Hello, viewers. My name is Betty Nantongo. I am a founder of BRB Homes. BRB Homes is a rental company. We basically identify homes in Kampala City. We furnish them, we put all the necessary amenities, and then we rent them out to travelers, to business experts, and people looking for a home. So basically what you need to do is carry your bag. And then we charge according to how many nights you're staying. There's like a version of hotels, but like in a more homely feel.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about, I don't have a cooking stove, I don't have plates. We have all of those things into these homes, and then we rent them out. So you can bring your food and you just cook.
Okay.
Yes, so we have a lot of clients from abroad. We have local clients. We have just normal travelers who are coming to explore and they're looking for a place to stay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's also affordable, is it?
It is pretty affordable because if you're looking at a hotel, you will pay approximately $100+. We charge between $40 to $60.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's really interesting. So in this episode, we are going to be tackling leadership for entrepreneurs. So we are going to be tackling leadership. And as you know, if you're starting up a business, you're supposed to be a leader because there are very many decisions that you have to make. You have to really convince people to work with you, even if you don't have money. And if you don't have qualities of a good leader, there's no way you'll be able to convince someone, especially people of value. Okay, you could be able to convince people of no value because they are not even busy. But then if you don't have leadership skills, it is hard for you to even build a team. So in this series, we are going to be tackling leadership, and of course we are here with Betty Benjamin. from BRB Homes. She's going to be looking at leadership. So what I'm saying is that make sure that you have somewhere to write if you maybe come upon some unique ideas. Write them down, but most importantly, see how you can apply this to your business, to your innovation. And yeah, hopefully we shall be happy to hear from you when you start now to create something, and we shall be able to invite you here and you tell us that with the tips I got from Betty on leadership, I was able to do this and this. So Miss Betty, you're going to teach us about leadership and everything you've prepared for us. So thank you so much, and take it on.
Thank you so much, Rodney. So actually, this segment is going to be very unique in a sense that I will be sharing my session, but also it will have a lot of practical experience, or some sort of personal experience, because I've been running business for like 7 years now. That is what a good leader does. So you have to understand that there are things, or there are unique characteristics that make up an entrepreneur. And I'm going to break them down into 5 key qualities that I was able to come about. So the first characteristic of an entrepreneurial leadership, we're talking about creating a vision. Now, what does creating a vision mean? Like, we set long-term goals and inspire others to achieve these goals, because you cannot start a business without a dream, without a bigger picture. I think in Uganda, we have a lot of informal structured businesses. People kind of survive on day-to-day jobs. But when we talk about entrepreneurship, it's not just about that today dream that you're having. We are looking at a big picture. And for you to be a successful leader within this business, you have to be able to inspire others to buy into your vision, so that they can appreciate what you're trying to do, and then they will support you throughout this journey. So that is the first characteristic of an entrepreneurial leadership. The second one, we're talking about taking initiative. Now, what does a taking initiative mean? Sometimes if you look at the successful people, they don't just sit in their homes and let things work out. They're always engaged in the day-to-day running of their businesses. You have to wake up every morning, identify an opportunity, seize that opportunity, and take it on. If it means finding an maybe investor, find that investor, you talk to them. Take the first step. Do not wait for somebody to introduce you to kind of like, to push that opportunity. I was talking to my friend Rodney, and he told me that even though he's running Funland Club, he has to wake up every morning and identify his own opportunities. He's selling his dream to the people so that they can buy into it. And time is going to come where Rodney is not looking for people, but he is going to be looked for. People are going to look for him because he has already taken that initiative to identify investors, opportunities, and things that will help his business run successfully. The third point I want to talk about is leading by example. Now, you as an entrepreneur, you have to demonstrate hard work. You cannot expect your team to show hard work when you yourself, you're as lazy as you can be. You understand? So you have to show that you're resilient, no matter when you're experiencing any failure, no matter when everything you have planned to do does not move well. You have to demonstrate a highest level of resilience. But then also you have to show integrity, because I think many times we fail in our businesses because we lack integrity. We lack the certain level of accountability. Somebody can give you money and is like, I want to invest 10 million into your business. But then we have, tendencies of being thieves. Let me just say it in a layman's language. We are like thieves. We cannot use this money that has been entrusted to us to invest it into our businesses so that they can become big ventures, So you as a leader, you have to lead by example. Otherwise, if you do not, there is going to be a challenge when it comes to inspiring your team to do exactly that. The fourth thing I want to talk about is fostering innovation. And I mean, thanks to Hope Channel that we have a show that talks about innovation, because how can you run a successful business when you're not innovating? Do you understand? Like, you have to be able to innovate. I remember when I just started out my Airbnb businesses, I was living in Iganga, and I had my house. It was nice, it was beautiful. And then I had a lot of white people coming into the community, and they were looking for a place to stay as they do an internship for, say, 3-4 months. And then I was helping them run around, identify hotels and all of those things. But then I got a thought, like, what if I use one of my rooms and then I rent it to them at a smaller fee? So actually, I could have my rent covered. They can help me to pay my bills. And then I can as well earn a profit out of it, you know? So I actually started with identifying some unique furniture, some art, some things that I know could make someone find my room as compelling, as even better than a hotel, if that makes sense, you know? So I introduced unique things into my house that kind of gave me a platform to start marketing my property for people to rent out. And I tell you, I spent like almost an entire year without having to pick from my own pocket to pay rent, to pay any bill, because I had clients constantly looking out for my home because they felt it was more unique than just going into a random hotel. So you have to be able to think creatively on how can I make my business unique or stand out from the competition, because if you do not do that, high chances are that you're not going to have long-term clients that are going to come looking out for your business. Then the last characteristic that I think personally I've experienced in my business journey is you must be able to build relationships. Now, I cannot emphasize this hard enough. Strong relationship between employees, between your customers, between your stakeholders will help your business to drive it from one step to another. When you receive somebody into your business, don't look at them as like a one-time of clients, right? You have to understand that this person that I've got, I need to find a reason to keep them constantly coming back to my property. But you can also use that same person to make a referral for your business. My BRB Homes business is only surviving primarily from the referrals. Like, I can get a client I've hosted maybe last year. Then they will tell their friend, oh, by the way, there's this house, there's this lady in Bukoto, she has these beautiful apartments. If you need somewhere to sleep in Kampala, just give her a phone call. So then somebody's like, hey, hi, Betty, I just got your number from a friend and she said you gave her good accommodation and your service is good. I would like to come and rent at your house as well. You understand? So it's not just about setting up your business and you let it to hang, but you have to understand that the people you work with every day are your power. They're the ones who give you money. They're the ones who give you the knowledge. When I talk about stakeholders, for example, I deal with like landlords primarily because, I have to make sure that my landlords are in good terms with me because they can influence how well my business works. I cannot fail to pay them on time. I cannot fail to do what they require of me to do because I know by safeguarding that relationship, it's helping my business in one way or the other to thrive. So for a young entrepreneur who's out there and you're trying to find within yourself, what do I have to think about? What can I do to make sure that my business can be successful? I want you to think about those 5 key points that I've highlighted and reflect on them and think about how can I improve my relationship building skill? How can I take more initiative? How can I lead by example? But most importantly, how can I innovate my business every single day? I wanted to give some examples of successful business people who have, used these characteristics that I have just highlighted. For example, when we talk about setting a vision, right? I'm going to give you an example of a guy who owns one of the biggest online stores. I don't know how many of you use Amazon or how many of you know about Amazon. Now, Amazon is a massive online platform, and the owner of this company is called Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos started Amazon in 1994, and he started as an online bookstore. If you're looking to buy any particular book, for example, you just go to Amazon and then you order a book, right? But for him, it was not just about a vision of creating an online bookstore, but he wanted to create an everything store, right? Like not only just books, but you can buy clothes, you can buy movies, you can buy just literally anything you can think of. So his vision was small to begin with, but then his vision actually was bigger, but he wanted to start small. He looked at the biggest niche at that point. People demanded more online books, people wanted to gain more knowledge. So he started by bringing them closer through an online platform, but he knew that with time, he created several segments on his website where people could actually order for more than one thing. So right now, Amazon is one of the biggest trillion-dollar companies that started as just a small online bookstore, and they don't only sell books, they are into e-commerce, they're into cloud computing, they're into AI. So even for you as a young entrepreneur, you might find that your vision right now is too big, but you're struggling on where to start. I want to encourage you to think about what is the smallest problem of somebody that I can solve right now as I think of how to build it on a bigger platform. When it comes to communication, I wanted to use an example of Elon Musk. Now, most of us use X, former Twitter. We know the guy called Elon Musk. He's one of a kind, right? But Elon has a very unique aspect that he can convince and communicate his vision to people, and he has actually had the ability to fundraise so much money because he's into sustainable energy, space travel. He's also into AI, but Elon has successfully communicated his mission with so much passion, rallying employees and investors to believe in him. Now, for you, what have you done? If you have an idea, have you talked to people? Have you identified, individuals that could have an opportunity to maybe be interested? Have you worked on your communication skills to say, can I pitch my business? I think maybe Rodney might at some point talk about like the elevator pitch, right? Can you create an elevator pitch if you found, say, Ham, this guy Ham, right? Can you make an elevator pitch for Ham in like 1 minute and you sell his business idea to him? So you have to know that for you to be able to achieve as a successful leader within your business, you must communicate your vision very well to your funders, to your customers, but also to the partners that do believe in you. Decision making is not easy when it comes to leadership. It is very hard, but only people who are willing to make very tough calls are the ones that can come out with so much confidence and build successful businesses. A big example is Reed Hastings. Reed Hastings is a young man who started Netflix, right? I'm using examples of things that most of us are familiar with because we watch movies on Netflix, right? But if you don't know, Netflix started as an online DVD rental company. You know how we go to VJ Junior, and then we rent out these DVDs and then we take them home and play in our DVD players. That is kind of how Netflix kind of started, But then they realized they were competing with massive companies like Blockbuster and so on and so forth. So Hastings made a very risky decision to shift from just streaming with he basically moved from just renting out CDs, and he moved all of these CDs on an online platform. Now that is bold because the time he did that was in early 2000s. We know that there was technology was kind of like starting, it was very risky and technology wasn't as well developed as it is right now. So decision making is very crucial, but you have to understand that when you're making these decisions, there's something that we call an affordable risk. Maybe at some point we will explain what an affordable risk means, but you have to understand that when I'm risking this much, will it affect the quality of my life? Somebody says that if you're not willing to risk, then nothing new is going to be created. Because risk comes with failure, and if you're not willing to fail, nothing new is ever going to be created. So we have to make sure that we make bold but calculated decisions and embrace change within our businesses. Allow me move on to the third segment I wanted to share about the difference between being a boss and a leader. Now, personally, I have experienced these two terms. I feel like in my leadership journey, I have been a boss. And then I've also realized I've been a leader at some point. And I don't think it's necessarily bad to be a boss or necessarily bad to be a leader, even though some people would argue that you'd rather be a leader rather than a boss. Because if you are to look at the differences between a boss and a leader, bosses apparently tend to give orders and control employees, whereas leaders, they inspire and empower their employees. Bosses tend to focus on short-term results because maybe you're hired in a job and then you have 2 years to make an impression. So you have to make sure that you achieve everything that you're required to do in a shortest time. Whereas when we talk about like leaders, they're more focused on the long-term goals, right? They're not just short-sighted because they know if I put a bet in this place, if I'm hiring her to be, for example, the HR, I know that with time I'm going to support her through it. I will educate her so that she will next 10 years be a very useful asset for my company, right? Bosses use fear and authority to get things done, whereas leaders gain trust through respect and motivation. When you're starting out, I think you need to make tough calls, right? You need to make tough calls, but it doesn't mean that you have to be mean and rude to the people. You have to understand that you're dealing with humans, and for them to buy into your vision, you have to be willing to understand and accept them and know that whatever ideas that they have, you must be willing to listen and you must be willing to change and take a different course of action.
Yes, thank you so much for watching, and we are still continuing with leadership. You've had great insights from Betty. Okay, she has shared her story. And Betty, we have very many young people. Right now, you see the times when we started businesses perhaps are a bit different from now. I have a feeling that youths out there in these times have great opportunities.
Absolutely.
But then the challenge is that most of them are stuck. They are stuck. They think that it is impossible. But with some of the insights you've shared, I've seen that it is possible. Okay, with the right mindset and of course taking action, you are able to be innovative and of course to triumph. Now, in this section called Ask the Expert. Okay, and of course, you've heard so far from our expert, and I have just a few questions for her. Now, the first question is that we have people that are really struggling with leadership. Okay, they are young people, they are starting out, they've tried it, they are struggling. The first question is that how can I know that I'm really struggling with leadership so that I can look for help? You get it? Because if you don't acknowledge that I'm really struggling in this area, you may not reach out for help. So how do I know that I'm really struggling with this aspect of leadership?
That's right.
Yeah.
So I will reiterate back to my my presentation where we're talking about the qualities of a good leader. If you're struggling, it means that you are lacking some of the qualities of a good leader, which we'll talk about, like managing your teams, communicating effectively, right? Because if you have a team, for example, and your team is saying but false, they're always complaining, they are not doing what you require them to do, it means you're not inspiring them. You're not motivating them. Now, what I would say in that regard is if you identify that they're struggling with motivation, then maybe you need to actually have a sit down and you talk to your people. Because you see the problem with entrepreneurs in Uganda, we feel like when you are the boss, you cannot be questionable. I've had to, I've had my fair share of like positive criticism from my team. Because anyway, I come from a place where they were encouraging positive criticism for you to be better.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to listen to the people you're dealing with, you're not going to learn. So for a young person who's struggling with, leadership, they need to recognize that you're only human. You listen to your team, what they tell you, make sure you actually implement it. Because if you do not, then you're going to constantly have a team of demotivated members.
Okay.
If you're not willing to take risks, you're not going to grow really. If you're not in this sport, you're trying to make a big risk for Funland, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not taking this step, you will probably be somewhere. I don't know, okay? But you have to constantly take an extra step.
Yeah.
But if you do not take that extra step, you're going to remain behind.
Okay. Now something small. So you've talked of that. Okay, I just want to rephrase something, and I have a follow-up question. So you said if an innovator or entrepreneur looks at the way they are doing business and they do a self-check on some of the things you talked about, if they see that perhaps I'm not really motivating my team, I'm doing this, they just have to know that maybe they lack leadership skills. Okay. Now, I want to talk about the aspect of motivating team.
Right.
People who are starting out always start with a vision. No money, no nothing. So in this state, how can I be able to motivate my team? Because you see, most of us think that motivation is all about a tip. You get it? Even at the end of the month, giving them their salary, their share. So if I don't have all these resources, how can I really motivate my team?
Thank you. That's a very wonderful question. Now, I'm going to give you an example. When I hired one of my staff who helps with the house maintenance and house cleaning. When I hired her, I could tell that she doesn't actually know anything. Yeah. So I had to make sure she's trained from the beginning. But one of the things that for me, I think is crucial is you have to be intentional with your staff. I might not give my staff a tip, but I constantly provide them with the feedback where I feel like they've done a great job. I will recognize that.
Yeah.
Like she would even, like I remember the first time I told her, I won't mention her name, but I said, let's say Sarah, for the context sake. Sarah, I think today you have done a wonderful job. I like how you've made this bed. I like how you've organized the sofas. Like I recognize her effort.
Yeah.
So next time she will be happy because she will know that I'm going to do another even better than that. I'm not giving her money, my Jew.
Yeah.
But I am using my voice to appreciate her effort.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people don't really need a lot.
Yeah.
If you look at successful companies that have highly motivated individuals, it's not because they give them money, but they treat them like they're part of this dream.
Yeah.
Not just like, they're trying to fit in. So you don't have to have money to tell somebody, Rodney, I've done a great job.
Yeah.
I am proud of you. I think you can do better.
Yeah. Okay. So for innovators out there, for young people out there, or even people who are in business, we are appealing to young people, but also we have old people who have been struggling. Maybe people leaving them, maybe thinking that maybe they have a problem. So it's not about the money. It could be, thank you. It could be you did a good job. It could be even something else, something minor or major. So I make sure that your team is always motivated. And if they're not motivated, there's nothing, right? Okay.
What you have is what you need.
Yeah.
If you have money, extra money, then that's when you can also give, like, for example, I have another full-time job as well. So at the end of the month, at the end of the contract here, they'll give us like an extra bonus.
Yeah.
Because they have the money they're in upon. But if they can also do parties for us as an extra thank you for, being a part of our company and supporting it to grow.
Yeah. But I also think the trainings, if you can afford the training, you do a training to them, and that's a way to say thank you. Now, in the context of leadership, does it have an age limit? Like, can a young person lead an older person, or it has to follow like a specific protocol that the other ones to lead, because you have young innovators and they could be in teams of other people, like they need support from other people. So is there an aspect of age when it comes to leadership?
Not really. Not really. If you're a young person,
Yeah.
right, and you have been presented with an opportunity to lead, grab it. Like, I think a lot of times, Uganda, as a country, culturally, children have always been kept in the back. Now, for us, the millennials, we know how this feels. Like guests come home, children have to run out. Like, we're not exposed to spaces where we can interact with old people. But this generation, you had something unique to the point that the opportunities are presented to you, but most of you are very shy to actually grab these opportunities. So for me, I believe that it does not matter your age. If you feel like you have the right fit knowledge, you might not have experience, but you have the mindset, the resilience, the passion, the drive, this is what it will take you to learn and to grab that opportunity. Otherwise, if you want to keep yourself in the back and in the shop because you have like old people like Betty or Rodney or whatever, it's going to be a little bit difficult. I wish I was born in this generation because I feel like I'll be like in the Forbes magazine of the top 50, rich people, because the opportunities today are more greater than the opportunities we had growing up. So young people just need to realize what they have at hand and grab those opportunities without fearing that's because I'm younger, I cannot do it. You're younger, that's why you can do it. That's my feel.
Okay, so for young people out there, yeah, I think age is, they say, it's just a number. Yeah, so you could be, as long as you apply, okay, all these things that we're talking about, as long as you motivate, even if it's an older person, they need the motivation, and of course they want to be led by people who are really sensible. Okay, yeah, because if you're young but also you lack some of these common tips that we've been sharing here, there's no way someone can be able to give you attention. So my last question. So we've been talking about what we should do to be great leaders, but tell me maybe one or two things that a leader should not do, okay? Should avoid. You get it? Should not do and should avoid. One or two.
Now, I'm going to tell you the first one I will talk about. I didn't mention it anywhere, but for me, I believe it's the crucial one. One, you must be able to separate your personal finances from your business finances.
Okay.
There's a lot more conversation on that point. Maybe chance allows another time.
Yeah.
We will talk about, because let me tell you, the moment you start to treat your business as your own,
Yeah. Even if you're the founder.
even if you are founder and you cannot separate or understand that this money is mine, with me, I have two accounts.
Yeah.
I have an account for my money, my profits, and then I have an account for the business. You understand? But the moment, and I had to learn that the hardest way after several times of failure, because whenever you want to use some money, there's some money in the business you take out and you spend without even charting. You don't have a cash in, cash out. You don't have the cash ready. You don't have any business finances that are active. So for me, one, you should not treat your personal finances your business finances as your partner finances. You need to separate the two.
Okay, so I think it's good to learn before making the mistakes. So if you're out there, probably you've not yet started a business, this is a tip. Okay, I think it also affected me. I think everyone, you see, when you're the founder, you have access to the account. It's really easy to say, okay, I have no money, let me just withdraw something. But then at the end of the month, you have no money to facilitate a few things, and then the business is stuck. Okay, so we have been with, I think we are only left with one thing, that is the innovation challenge. Now, the innovation challenge is something that is unique and is always a surprise even to the guests, because I don't tell them what the challenge is. So they have to figure it out and be able to overcome the challenge. Now, in our series, we've been having a business that we were trying to come up with, okay? So this is an imaginary, so just imagine this. So imagine a young person come up with an idea, of waste recycling, something to do with waste recycling. Okay, they are probably looking at getting plastic and recycling this plastic, and to be able to do something out of it. Maybe they want to create maybe recyclable products, okay, like bags, stuff like that. Now, this person is in the early stages, okay? They have no team, they have nothing. Now, since we are looking at leadership, I want you to tell us how this person can jump from the idea stage to building a small team that can really help them set up their business. So what are some of those things? Okay, for example, you can say, I would start with this, I do this, because they have no money, but they need a team to help them in different areas. Okay, so the challenge is that, tell us, as a young person, they're starting out, how are they going to be able to come up with a team and get started? Yeah, something like that. You can ask questions for clarity.
Is the team the main challenge they're experiencing, or the challenge is that they need to start?
They need to start. They have the idea.
So basically, we are just trying. So team is just one aspect. But basically, they need to kickstart the business, right? Okay. Okay. So one. So for this entrepreneur, let me put myself as this entrepreneur, right? I want to do a recycling business, right? I don't have money. I don't have a team, but then I have a vision in my head, right? Number one, I'm going to try and identify what has come before. I'm not the first person to have this dream. That is the reality. Who is doing this? My first step would be going to identify someone who is into this business. Go to them, maybe, hypothetically speaking, ask for an internship or a voluntary role.
Yeah.
If I cannot be offered a voluntary role, talk to the people who are working in this company. Because what I'm trying to do is, remember, we say lack of experience is one of the challenges that young innovators experience, right? I am trying to gain the experience on how best to run. Or maybe I can even convince one of the staff who's there to actually even join my team. You get it? So my first step is going to identify who's doing it, learn from them. What are they doing well? What are they not doing well? So that even if I'm trying to bring out my small product on the market, it can sort of fit the market segment that I'm trying to, not to replicate what everybody's what. Then the second thing is, once I learn that knowledge, I'm going to try and use, because with waste recycling, we need waste first. Even if I don't have Rodney or another person on my team, I would go and identify what waste do I want to deal with.
Yeah, and where to get it from.
Where do I get it from?
Yeah.
Do I care? Do I get it free of charge? Whatever there is, right?
Yeah.
When I bring it, I already have my concept in my head. This is what I want to do. So, for example, I want to make briquettes, right?
Yeah.
What does it take to make briquettes? I'm going to, for example, I assume by now I would have learned how to, get ash or this, I don't know how they call Lusenyi and Tibokenmanda. Mix it with whatever there is, and then I make it.
Yeah.
Then the next thing I'm going to do, without even a team at hand, because at this point I'm trying to make sure that my product is fitting a segment, right? I will get my, let's say, 10 briquettes that I've sold. Then I go to Rodney, who's my friend, who uses charcoal. Then I'll try to give Rodney like 3 of them and ask him, Rodney, I want you to try and use these briquettes.
So one thing, a moment, please hold the thought. It means, okay, according to what you've said so far, it means I can kickstart my business even without a team yet.
100%.
Okay, because we have people, innovators, young people, who are looking at now first hiring, first doing this. Yeah. So, but there's one interesting aspect that I can do all this research, I can take all this risk without someone else.
Absolutely.
Okay, you can continue.
This is how, by the way, this is a note. Africa, in general, we have highest level of entrepreneurs because we have a mindset of just doing it. We have a concept, we used to call it cause and effect. You probably heard about these two concepts, right? But the idea is, African entrepreneurs, we have a unique way of thinking. Because we have many problems, we quickly think of solutions to solve. Now, for an entrepreneur who's trying to start up, I don't think you really need to have a big team. That is now like the traditional way of business development. You come up with a business plan, you have a marketer, and then you go and launch.
Our team.
We can't do that in our economy because our resources cannot help.
Because even the traditional business plans, there's a section called our team. If you're only one person, you feel like
You are,
the team.
you know, right?
Yeah.
That's why it takes a long time to wait to execute a big plan, business plan.
Yeah.
But with an effectual mindset, we think about an idea, we think of the fastest way to test it, the fastest way to enter into the market. We interact with our clients, we identify where is the problem, how best. If my briquettes are not working for you, Rodney, you can tell me, man, I bet today your briquettes, I think they took long to light. Maybe the ash was too much. So I am learning the fastest knowledge that I would have not got if I was waiting to execute with a bigger team. Now I will go back home and then I iterate my products. Then I will come back and then I bring back to you again. When it's good enough and then be like, Rodney, help me to tell your neighbor, Betty has some briquettes and them. You see, so I am testing my.
So it means when now you create this market and the orders start coming in and you cannot handle the orders anymore alone,
then I can bring in a team.
Okay, now you're going to pause there because the next will be for the follow-up, which will be another episode. But I think it has been so clear. So we have been with Betty. You've seen the innovation challenge. I think it's like a framework, okay? A framework whereby you don't need to first think of teams, stuff like that. She has said, start by identifying someone who has done it before, okay? Try to get into those closed doors and explore. Try to convince even people if they can join. If they can't, you can still do it. Go and see where you can get the products, where you can get the raw material, where you can get the trash, and then try to test it. Get your first customer. This first customer will tell you a lot, okay? Because they also think they are helping you. So they say, I think you have to change this and that. So I think also you need to get feedback from people who are somehow qualified, because you can go to anyone and then they tell you, I think instead of briquettes, you could now start farming. We have those people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think it's also important to look at someone. You get feedback from people who are really worth something.
Let me say something small, Rodney. I think for an entrepreneur starting up, their priority is to test their product as quickly as they can.
Yeah, as quick as.
You might not have money.
Yeah.
But I've seen businesses that have grown from no money, because if you have customers, experts could be helpful for sure, but they might not make you money. They might cost you money. But you can focus and prioritize on identifying customers who can even pre-order.
Yeah.
So even if I don't have money, but you give me money to make for you briquettes, then I will use it into the business. So that as I am going, my goal is to solve your problem. You're spending more money on core, but I can give you a solution that is, more healthy, more, convenient, and is faster cooking, right? But I'm actually using your resource to grow my business. And I'm solving the problem of limited resources by riding on my existing block of customers who give me their money. I produce them. Actually, there's a concept called produce on demand.
Yeah.
If I don't have orders, I don't need money.
Yeah.
I don't have my business.
You don't have to have inventory there seated. Okay, so I think these are interesting stories that are really insightful. I would also I will sit on the show and watch this 6 times because it is really helpful. So we've been with Betty, Benjamin. I have some questions about that. Is it?
My dad's name.
Yes. Oh, I thought. So, since you said you miss, but yeah, being that it's your dad is. So we've been with Betty, and she's a CEO of BRB Homes. And she already introduced what BRB Homes is, and you can really check out her socials. You can tell us what your socials are.
So, well, at the moment, I'm just like advertising on online platforms like Booking.com and Airbnb. But I am yet to finalize my website, which will be launched soon with all the the details. When you host me next time, I'll come with my QR codes.
Okay.
So that people can scan on the screen and they can learn about my business.
Do you have like social media platforms like Instagram or TikTok?
Personal ones, but I use them to advertise. So I will share.
Oh, okay. No problem.
But if you go on the website, you can just search brbhomes.com. You will be able to see some of our properties listed.
Okay. Thank you so much. And let us meet and link up in the next episode. Don't forget, Funland Club, we are a multimedia company that is introducing the most exciting way and engaging way to learn digital art, IT, and innovation. Check out our website, funlandclub.com, and you'll be able to learn more about us. Thank you so much.